One of the most important things to do is having the right insurance for your project. So you can protect your home, you can protect a lot of things. There's anything that can happen. This is going to be a really short video where I'm going to feature a couple things. The first is going to be a clip of Clint Bailey with Alvarado Insurance. Worked with him for years, and he is a true professional. He's going to share the 2 lines of insurance that you need to have before the project starts. Then he's going to, then I'm going to show you what he mentions, which is a certificate of liability. And that certificate of liability is important that you know that you have it filled out correctly. And I'm going to show you what that looks like. But first, let's listen to Clint of what he said when I was asking him about what lines of insurance to have for your home when you're about to do an ADU project.
What kind of insurance do they need? What kind of protection do they need? Well, the key thing is 2 lines of coverage. First coverage is builder's risk. When construction processes are taking place, when you have an actual construction site taking place, normal property insurance does not cover any kind of damage that might happen to the home at that point. So once the home gets delivered to the site, typically, in that delivery process, you obviously, if you're buying one of these, you need to make sure that whoever is doing the transport, manufacturer of your home, is covering that home while it's sitting on a truck or being towed behind a truck. Because again, normal insurance is not going to work in those conditions. You need to vet that with whoever you're doing with the transporter or the developer, that we will have coverage while that home's in transit. But once it gets to the job site, that's typically where it becomes your responsibility. So let's say you're developing on a park. The home gets delivered, the home gets set down. At that point now, the home needs to be set up. You're going to need what's called a builder's risk policy, and that will provide you coverage while the construction, the whole setup process is taking place. You could buy these in 3-month installments, 6-month installments, depending upon how long it's going to take for the home to be built. That covers the property section of it. That covers it if it burns down, if it gets damaged. Basically, through that whole construction process, you're protecting your investment in that home. But that doesn't provide you liability. And you brought up the liability piece of this. What is your protection in the event that somebody gets injured and this home is titled in your name and they decide to sue you as a result for getting injured at this site? That is where you need liability insurance. Now, typically, if you hire a licensed contractor to do this work for you, somebody that carries a license in the state of California, you also want to verify that they have general liability insurance. And that contractor, this is the typical way, will provide the liability to you while they're on the job site. So while there's a setup process going on, the general contractor that is in charge of doing this job should be providing you with the liability to do the job. And they will name you as, meaning when I say the home buyer, you as the home buyer, as additional insured on their insurance policy. So the coverage will extend to any injuries that might happen to a third party.
All right, let's take a quick look at what a certificate of liability looks like. This is just the general form. I have done a lot of these over my time working in the industry. So this is something that I always have, which is I am named as a certificate holder. So here, where you can just see my first name, what's redacted is my wife's name and our property address where we had our ADU built. So this is actually a certificate of liability that I got from the general contractor, had all of his information, all of his policy numbers, the expiration dates, and all of those limits. This is important. It's critical. Not only do you need the builder's risk insurance, but you also need this general liability. So if you have any questions on this document or anything else insurance-wise or ADU-wise, drop it in the comments, reach out to me, and I'll do everything I can to help you. Take care.